Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cheap Seats podcast. We are on to episode 4. Here, as always, with the co-host and co-owner, Orca Shield.
Hello, thank you. It's good to be back.
Episode
4 already. Feels like just yesterday we were recording the pilot.
It does.
Because it was. We'll break the fourth wall.
There's a bell. I'm just going to drop that volume down there.
That's it. He's muted me already.
Help!
I'm being repressed.
Right. Anyway, so not a lot has happened since the Elimination Chamber, but we will discuss that, and we will discuss this week's Raw that has passed. The Smackdown leading up to the Elimination Chamber, I checked it out. Not a great deal happening, just a lot of momentum matches for people going into the actual chamber. Not much story advancement, really.
Yeah, it was all pre-recorded, so I don't think there was much they could do really with that. They couldn't really do any storytelling at that point because it was just probably right after the back of last week's SmackDown. I don't know when it was recorded, but obviously all of them were already on the plane to Perth at the time.
Yeah.
So, it was a very tame SmackDown, tame go-home show, which I suppose you can only expect when they are travelling as far as they are to Australia. They can't really do it and then get to a venue and set up the day after.
Yeah. I heard that the the boat that was shipping over the actual chamber itself, the structure, that it almost got hijacked by pirates.
Yeah, which I do like the image of like going down the Suez Canal and then there's like two pirates rock up on like a speedboat or a little dinghy, and then they're trying to get 10 miles of chain onto a dinghy. Just, we're taking this now. No, you can keep it. You can keep it.
Yeah. It just wasn't going to happen. I mean, it's always an issue when boats have to. I mean, so it's popped up on Facebook and Instagram and other things recently, but boats have to protect themselves from pirates, and the way they've gone about it, it's like they put barbed wire all around the thing. They put barbed wire on the stairs. They have these like ballista style spikes off the side.
Yeah, I think I've seen the same video.
Yeah, and they got like mannequins as well. And I'm just thinking to myself like, yeah, if I was a pirate and I saw a mannequin.
Pirates are apparently from a Scooby-Doo film because they're like, God damn, there's a person there, hide.
Yeah.
They've hired the same bloke that was on the Titanic to be lookout. He's just stood there. But yeah, no, I see that. So apparently it went like the long way round. They had to then return to dock, send it back to America or somewhere like that, or I don't know where the Suez Canal is, so I say America. It could already be in there, but it then had to get a train or something and a boat to Hawaii, then a train down into Asia and across or something. It took a lot longer and a lot more global emissions, I think, that they want than WWE would have liked to get the structure to Perth.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, but they did it. They got it there, and the crowd were vocal.
They were Australian.
They were
they were definitely Australian. But before we get onto the chamber, there was one thing that did happen Friday, which I've just remembered.
Yeah.
And editor, you can go back and roll the footage of either our predictions or our podcast, and in brackets and breaking the fourth wall again. I'm saying editor because I know Rio edits these, so it's his job.
Thanks.
And he will probably ignore me. But someone in this duo predicted that a certain R-Truth would rock up in a different country that sounds just like Australia.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. That was so funny.
And then on Friday, we get the video saying that he's outside the arena and it's empty, and the hotel's empty, no one's there, and he's in Austria.
Yeah. And then he starts using an English or what he thinks is an Australian accent to the taxi driver.
But yeah,
asking
that
if
came
he
up
should
on
go
Friday.
home. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
that's just like that's peak like performance there. I'm so glad that they're just letting R-Truth be funny because he is.
Yeah.
He's very funny and he's good at what he does. I just wish that they would, I really do wish that they would just let him
Bring
let him
back the
do his thing.
mixed tag. Bring back the mixed tag classic and have R-Truth and Chelsea Green in a duo. That would just be comedic gold.
I think it'd be good. I'd like to see that. He's just got something that's just so funny, you know.
Yeah. But
Um,
anyway, we do get to the chamber,
yeah.
and
So
the
yeah,
chamber.
chamber.
It was a predictable card. We both in
Yeah.
our predictions video, which is on YouTube. We both had. It was a very. We wasted everyone's time, so we both had the same predictions because the card was. It pretty much wrote itself.
Yeah.
But that being said, it was a banger of a show.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was actually really well paced. Like there wasn't a lot of downtime, and you didn't get bored.
No, and they split the matches up quite well. I think it would have been
Yeah.
easy to obviously bookend the two chambers, but the fact that it was chamber, then the tag match, then chamber, then they let Rhea have the main event.
Yeah.
It was just a nice flow to the match.
So I actually got something wrong. I need to retcon here, and I said that she was from Perth. She's not. She's from Adelaide. So she's not. She's not like hometown, but she's Australian, so it counts. But she's not from Perth.
Yeah.
But I made that. That was a mistake that I made. Anyway.
Oh, and the other match that was there at the chamber, we forgot it was added on the Friday, so it wasn't in our predictions. But I probably feel we both would have gone for the Kabuki Warriors as well. There was the tag team. We had a kickoff match for the first time in a long time, and again, the Australian crowd. Indy Hartwell was bigger than Charlotte Flair, according to the Australian crowd. She was the chants for Indy Hartwell were fantastic.
Yeah.
They had, and the chance, to be fair, and that we'll get onto it later on, but the Australian crowd were hot for just the most random talent. It was, but it worked. But that first tag match, it had a decent flow. For the kickoff show, the girls did well, and I know obviously we'll get onto it. The women's chamber match, you feel sorry for the two women that weren't in the match first, because the kickoff show and the women's chamber had the worst time of day to be on it, because I imagine that was probably close to about 100 degrees. It's just coming out of their summer in Australia, so the humidity would have been through the roof for them, and they had to go on and put on, and they both put on a barnstormer, but more so the ones that were in the pods, because now, and Randy Orton said it in an interview shortly after the men's match, he said that back in there, the chamber, the pods used to be like the chain link fence around and just had the glass on either side, inside. But now there's glass on top. All four walls are glass. He said if you're claustrophobic, it's not a good place to be. And the heat and humidity, that must have been like a goldfish bowl, or a greenhouse. Them just stood in that. Especially the women, because they still had daylight. The men the sun had gone down at that point. It still would have been hot, but the sun had gone down.
Yeah, the humidity must have been awful.
Yeah, but if we start on the women's match, the one that actually opened the show, this is another name that was over to high hell, and it's my bay and spirit animal.
Tiffany.
It was Tiffy time all through Australia. She was so over. It was, the crowd were chanting Tiffy time before she even came out. There was chants of Tiffy time while she was in the pod, and there was like Becky Lynch and who started with Becky Lynch? Naomi. They were in the ring, so a returning Naomi and Becky Lynch both in the ring, and yet the crowd is still chanting Tiffy time. and then when she inevitably gets eliminated by Liv, because we knew Tiffany wasn't going to win, but this match was to put on, like, show the world who she was. Her first big PLE on the main roster. And when she got eliminated, there was just chance of bullshit. The Australian crowd were just wanting Tiffany to win for whatever reason.
Because
I mean,
to make it, I think it was just to make the main event of Mania, just to make it a bit like, what the fuck, you know? I think they were expecting an upset, perhaps.
but the athleticism she shows, like I liked it. I don't watch too much. I do watch NXT, but not as enough to like know who she was. But to me, I fell in love with Tiffany Stratton from WWE 2K.
Right.
She was my GM goat, who went from like cheap as chips to my 5-star unbeat. She was almost on par with the Undertaker. Mm-hmm. I think in the first GM mode I did, she lost the first 3 matches when I put her in a tag team with Blair Davenport.
That's right.
And then from then on, she went something like 20. I think in season 2 she was 27-3. She just didn't lose matches. Yeah. Whatever I put her in, she was just winning. But so to see her out there was pretty good. It was good. Liv is suited to it.
Yeah.
And Raquel Rodriguez being back, and as you said, you sent me a message. Her skin condition flared up.
Yeah.
Maybe to do with the humidity, maybe to do with the heat, but the fact that she powered through something that's that painful, fair play to her.
Yeah.
I think the women look strong. All the women involved look strong. But yeah, the winner was sort of predicted, and I think it was poor on WWE's part more than the women involved, because that match was it was a banger. Everyone was doing fantastic work. Everyone was like top of their game from the women's side of things. But then the fact that we had at the kickoff Becky Lynch already confronting Rhea Ripley sort of just it overshadowed and sort of foreshadowed the event that would have been really good.
Yeah, it did. I really enjoyed the women's chamber match. It was actually really good this year.
Yeah.
The tag match as well. Between I don't know why they've called them this New Catch Republic. It does not.
It's apparently a throwback to their old name in
okay.
England somewhere.
Okay, fine. Well, if that's the case, fine. But it doesn't. It's not a catchy team name. Like,
no.
I can't see many T-shirts being sold with that on it. But that's just my personal opinion. Because I really like Tyler Bate and I really like Pete Dunne as well. Because when he was in Money in the Bank, the entire arena were chanting Bruiserweight, and you could tell it was like it was special. Yeah, so.
But that match was great, and WWE obviously we now know full well that they turned down Dom's mic because they overdid it. Like, yes, okay, the boos were there. He was getting booed, but they did just cut off the microphone. They made it too obvious that they'd cut off the microphone at that point.
Yeah. They need to let him keep speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice to see that it was just the three sort of, I won't say original members because obviously you had Edge and Rhea as the original with Damian Priest, but Finn, Damian, and Dominic, or Tom or Nick, whichever one came out, we're not sure. They were the only three. There was no JD in sight, and as much as I like JD McDonough, I know a lot of people don't like him in the fan base, but I think he does a decent job. But it was nice to see just Dom.
Yeah.
It was nice to see just Dom out there with them, and like I say, the only bad thing about that match, apart from the name, is the horrendous intro that they've been given of the New Catch Republic.
Oh,
I don't know what it is about the new people that do the entrance music for superstars these days, because it's just let's repeat whoever the superstar's name is or tag team name. Like the start of Damage Control, it just says Damage Control, and now their whole entrance music is just New Catch Republic, just constantly. Just every so often.
It's like they're trying to get it over. I think they're kind of doing it. Oh well, because they're from England, they love their football, so let's make it sound like a football chant. It's like that does not translate. It does not work.
No.
Yeah, if it's not inside a football stadium being used for football, it doesn't. It's yeah.
But the finish of the match, there was a couple of close falls. There was a moment where it looked so like good. Judgment Day were going to go back to their old ways, where they were miscommunicating. When it was a weird move that did it, because it was like if I remember right, it was like a DDT or something, but then Damian Priest decided to stand up and hit Finn off the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
He randomly bounced up and just hits him. So it didn't really have the flow to it, but there was that moment that made you think that, they're going to actually change the hands here.
But no,
but it has stayed on Judgment Day, which will be interesting to see who actually faces Judgment Day now at Mania.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be it's one of the few belts that's still up in the air. They haven't got a challenger going into Mania just yet.
No, that's true. What would you like to see? Like, what would be your ideal tag event for Mania?
I'd go for. What I think's going to happen is you're going to get. It's not going to be the Street Profits or the Authors of Pain because they're going to be in a match against each other. I reckon you're going to get the whatever they're called now, Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain, Final Testament or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
They're going against them in a 6-man, I reckon. So that rules them 2 tag teams out. The one that my heart, because my favourite male star is Johnny Gargano. I want DIY. I'd have DIY versus Judgment Day.
Okay.
But I don't know. I genuinely don't know who it's going to be.
What about a tornado tag, like a TLC match, like where you've got 4 teams?
They did that once before, didn't they? They did that with when the Hardys returned.
Yep.
And the New Day came out to sort of say, and everyone thought the New Day were going to be the final team, and then they just stood to the side.
Yeah.
So they could do that. They could do that. I think the only thing that I think they wouldn't go for a sort of TLC match is Damien's running out of time to cash that in. And I know that we had a standoff on Raw, which we'll get to eventually after we've gone through the Elimination Chamber, which might suggest something else is happening. But you don't want Damien to get hurt or anything in a ladder match that then makes it seem unlikely that he's going to cash in that briefcase.
Okay.
I'm not saying that I want him to successfully cash in that briefcase at the minute, but again, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that
later on.
Okay, so all right, well, let's just leave that open to speculation for now. We'll see what happens over the next few weeks because we are on the fast lane to WrestleMania, as they say it, not me. I would never call it that because it sounds ridiculous. I would always use the road to WrestleMania. That just it just has that really nice like classic ring to it. Anyway, so the road to WrestleMania, we are on it. We have 4 weeks. Yeah, we have
40 days or something like that.
Yeah. We're 4 weeks
the week after
away.
my birthday, so send your cards into P.O. Box.
the cheap seats. ISS space station. We did. So we're going to speculate, obviously, about everything that's going to happen at Mania. But we got 4 weeks to go. A lot of story development in that time is going to happen. I think there's going to be a lot of build up. We're going to get a lot of what ifs. We're going to get a lot of swerves. I think because Triple H loves a swerve. So the match after that, which I think is what everyone was kind of hoping for, was it
a match after that? I thought it was the Grayson Waller effect. Was that after that, or was that after the Chamber? I can't remember which order it went in now.
I think I'm not. I can't remember.
I thought it was the Waller effect after the tag.
Oh,
and
sorry.
Then went into the Chamber.
I can't remember what it was. It was one or the other.
Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I could be completely wrong because it seems weird to have the Chamber then. Although maybe it was the Chamber, and then while they were clearing up, they could do the Waller. I don't know. I genuinely can't remember. But if we go to the Waller effect quickly, because I think that not only is he slowly becoming up there with Johnny Gargano as one of my favourites in WWE at the minute, he is just such a good heel. Everything about this trip for him was absolutely fantastic.
It was.
From his tweet when he was on the plane where he was like, halfway to Perth and I've just finished my book. At least someone in this company can finish their story.
Yeah. Yeah.
He puts that out, and then he comes out to a chorus of cheers because obviously he's an Australian born. Yeah. So it's the first time you're going to hear Grayson Waller cheered for a long time. And then
I like him.
his intro for Cody Rhodes was absolutely amazing because it was typical, like stereotypical WWE heel work where it was let's let the foreigner make fun of the American to get booze,
right?
And it didn't work because they were in Australia, because he just goes, let's introduce my guest, the man who has the American education system to thank for his lack of being able to finish a story, Cody Rhodes.
And I bet everyone was laughing.
Yeah, and everyone's just laughing at him, and it was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, he wrote that while he was still in America.
Yeah,
and he gets to Australia and he reads it. And he's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
They're cheering me.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh man."
But then you get Cody. I think Cody and Seth's segment went on a bit long, and then there was it was a bit weird that Fury was just stood at the side of the ring for the entire thing, and then it was obvious to see why at the end when he just started rolling through like the Rock's. The Rock's sort of like catchphrases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then you had like Seth coming out, and he's behind me. He's up there, and he was looking.
Why is he wearing Velveteen Dreams glasses though?
I don't know. I'd seen them somewhere before. And oh shit! He's there. He's there. Oh god! Let's get him gone. You've ruined the joke he came in too soon.
Oh, no way! Oh, okay, if anyone's listening, I'm sorry if I just burst your eardrums, but you have to go and check out the video version of the podcast episode. Oh my god, that was brilliant. I'm not even going to say what happened, but that was fucking brilliant. And I'm sorry I ruined it. I only just realised. I looked over at the portrait. I was like, "Oh, okay." Oh, my glasses are full.
Yeah, so yeah, Seth was there. I think it looks like Cody has accepted Seth's agreement as they hit their finishes on Austin Theory, who, can we just say, sold that curb stomp like Rock selling a stunner.
I mean, yeah. To say he overdid it a bit would be an understatement.
He basically did a headstand, and then
that was so good.
It just went straight over.
Yeah, that was so good. The thing is, though, like, it does get the point over of, yeah, it's a powerful move, but it also gets the point over of, yeah, this guy understands wrestling. Like, he gets it.
Yeah. So it's meant to be
theatrical.
There was two things that I wanted to bring up about that spot in particular. One of them is to do with the spot. The other one is not. And it's to do with what you just said, actually, is the maturity of Austin Theory for someone so young. So there was one which is, it almost seemed like we were going to get a Grayson Waller face turn, which they should never do.
Oh.
Because he went to stand up to Seth and stop him from curb stomping Austin Theory, because they're obviously friends. And then Seth's just sort of looking at him, and then he looks at Cody, looks at Seth, and then Grayson Waller just stands back and just goes, "There you go, hit him with it," and sort of sits on his chair and just lets them carry on with the move.
Oh.
He didn't go to save Austin Theory, but then that sort of got washed away because Monday on Raw, it was Waller versus Cody, so he was still a heel in that. So it made no sense, that part to me, why he just backed away and sat down. I think it was probably so he didn't get attacked in Australia, because I think then they didn't want the fans to turn on Seth or Cody at that point, because I think he was obviously so over in his home crowd that it might have had a negative effect. So maybe that's why. But the other thing, which isn't to do with that segment, and it's to do with what you said about the maturity of Austin Theory, is there was a recording not long ago where he hit Carmelo Hayes with his sunset flip, is it, off the top turnbuckle?
Yeah.
Or Spanish fly, sorry, and he landed on his head. Both of them landed on their head. Oof. And he came out in an interview afterwards, and he's retired the move completely.
Yeah.
He said he's never doing it again, because he said what happened was, as they did the move, which they rehearsed and he'd done in the past lots of times, he said things obviously can go wrong. Carmelo Hayes' foot clipped the top rope, which meant they didn't get the full rotation. but because both of them sort of felt the foot clip the rope, they let go of the move halfway through, which meant they couldn't get the full rotation, so that's why they landed on their head. But because they were smart enough to let go of the hold, it meant they could both twist their body so their heads didn't land flat on the canvas, which would have obviously been a broken neck, possibly, if they landed straight down.
Injury. Awful.
But the fact that he must be early 20s, I don't know his exact age. I'd say Austin Theory is one of because he was going to be the youngest champion at one point, so I think that he must be young, like early 20s.
He must be, I'd say mid, because, yeah, I'd say about mid-20s. But, yeah, to have that level of maturity.
To be like, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to risk myself or my opponent for one move, and he's just retired it.
No, well, I mean, Mick Foley said it best. When you're wrestling, and you're doing everything you can to protect your opponent as well.
Yeah.
And if a move that you do could potentially end someone's life, let alone their career, you just pack that move in. Just stop it. Just don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
If it's if there's too much risk to reward, don't do it. Don't find a different move. There's a whole arsenal of moves out there that you could do.
Yeah.
You know.
Even if he brings it out in like special matches as like a big move, maybe, I don't know. But even then, I think it's not worth the risk anymore.
Yeah.
The fact that it can go wrong so badly. So yeah, I'd say it's decent to just retire it.
Yeah.
But that's all that I wanted to say from Austin Theory's point of view. Because again, I do stand by the fact that apart from him just running through some of the Rock's catchphrases, it was just wasted, and it made that segment go on longer than it needed to be.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes they get told like, "Hey, you have to go out there and you have to like burn 20 minutes." So burn 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like they get to the end of what they wanted to say, and they're kind of like, "Oh shit, what do we do now? We've still got 5 minutes to go." It's like, oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll just hit a few moves or whatever.
But then after that, or before that, because I genuinely don't remember, it's the men's elimination chamber where we see a return to, weirdly, something that has been banned in WWE for a long, long time, which was someone taking clean headshots.
Oh.
In the sense that when Logan Paul came into the ring, for some reason Kevin Owens decided to just start smashing his head off a bulletproof plexiglass.
Oh, that was so good. It was so good. I mean, Logan Paul could have protected himself a bit, I think.
No, not that. It was when Logan Paul actually enters the ring, so Kevin Owens is already in his pod, and Kevin Owens just for some reason starts just headbutting the glass to try and get to Logan.
Sorry.
And Logan just sort of goes like he's crazy, he's mental.
Yeah, sorry. I misunderstood. Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about now. Sorry.
I don't understand that. In all the health and safety of like don't hit your head, the fact that you could see him just, and I know they say it's like bulletproof plexiglass, but obviously it's designed for someone to go through.
It's not bulletproof. It's just plexiglass.
Yeah. But even so, to have someone just start smashing the head off
it's plastic, is what it is. It's just plastic in a frame, and you can see it's got quite a bit of give.
Yeah.
So he's doing it, but I don't think he. Yeah. It was a great visual. It was a great visual.
But I think and I liked the. This is going off topic a bit, but not really, because we were talking about the people coming in. I like the arena. If you've seen it, there was a photo going around of people inside the arena, and I think when the camera cut back, you might have been able to see it as well. But across the top, on like the top stands, there was like LED screens, and it had cameras just in the pod with the person's photo next to them. So while the action was going on, you could actually just look up and see what they were doing in the pod, which obviously there's not a lot they can be doing in the pod because
Logan
it's
Paul
a tiny little box.
Sneak a Sharpie in.
Yeah,
he was drawing on the box.
Do you think that was already traced outlines of what he had to write on that thing if he'd agreed it previously? Because I struggle to write backwards, because he wrote that perfectly backwards so the people outside the pod could see it, and it still looked neat.
No, I think he's capable.
Trying to spell a word backwards with dyslexia is a pain in the ass enough, but then to also flip the letters so they're the right way round.
It takes a bit of thought, but you can do it. I mean,
he wrote Kevin
yeah,
sucks, then just drew a fat stick man basically just
yeah,
underneath,
yeah,
which was great. Logan Paul is just. I know when he first joined, we said it's annoying how good he is at the wrestling,
yeah,
but he's now. I don't think there's any sort of doubt. He's not even a celebrity anymore. He is just a superstar at this point.
yeah,
I think he was made for WWE. Like if you take away the annoying stuff he's done in the past, and like some of the
yeah.
stuff he did when he was a bit immature on YouTube, you get him now just as a wrestler, then you can't argue with the fact that he's up there with some of the best that do it. He's so like fluid in the ring, and he does protect the people that he's with.
Yeah, yeah, he's good. Yeah, and that's the
But,
annoying thing is he is good at what he does. But yeah, him drawing on the pod was because it's not been done before. How many chambers have we had? And he's the first one to bring a Sharpie or a marker in and start drawing on the plastic.
yeah, and then he drew a random photo with his breath.
Yeah,
He like breathed on the glass and just drew a photo of Drew, and I'm not sure what he was drawing at Drew, but
I don't know.
no, if anyone knows that,
I don't
let us
know.
know because I have no clue what he was drawing.
It was probably too. It was probably too hot. I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
But even the men's match was fantastic,
It was brilliant. It was
and
brilliant.
the ending was very good as well. I think.
Well, we need to just cover the fact that LA Knight was eliminated due to interference by AJ Styles.
Yeah, setting up another Mania match. I think,
Yeah.
which takes away my Logan Paul, LA Knight for the promos. But I think we're now
Yeah.
obviously getting LA Knight, not LA Knight, Logan Paul, Randy Orton.
Yeah.
By looks at which we'll get to. But yeah, AJ Styles who decided to hop on a plane to Australia just to cost LA Knight LA Knight his title shot.
I don't understand what like. Did he beat? Did LA Knight beat AJ Styles to go into the chamber?
No, so what happened was you obviously had the fatal four-way
Mania.
Rumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, which they were both in, and they were both sort of they were the ones that AJ took the pin, but they were sort of fighting back and forth in that one.
Mm-hmm.
So in the first qualifying match, I think was it the one with Drew, maybe it was Drew that took on AJ Styles,
Yeah.
but LA Knight was a guest commentator at the time,
Right.
and halfway through the match, they started arguing on the outside. And there's a perfect spot, and I'm pretty sure there's videos off it. But AJ Styles basically slaps a drink out of LA Knight's hand, or the other way around.
Okay.
But the way it goes, they would never be able to plan this like stunt, and they would never be able to do it again because he hit the bottle with such force that flipped round and landed between the barrier to the crowd and the mat on the floor, perfectly wedged in between, with the bottle just sat upright.
Wow.
they did like a pro bottle flip that was just. I don't think they'd ever be able to do again.
Wow.
But that's why. So, LA Knight basically cost AJ his spot. So then AJ's gone and just decided to take out LA Knight.
Also, just to throw a caveat in, apparently we were supposed to get Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins for the heavyweight title, but Bronson Reed recently became a dad. So.
Yep.
So congratulations to him.
He is now Big Papa, as he put out on X.
Yeah.
He's not just big; he's Big Papa.
Yeah. So yeah, no, good. No, that's great for him. I've always been a fan of his. I don't know why. Like since I've seen him, and then we saw him at the live show that you and I went to, and then since then I've always been like, yeah, he's got something for a big guy, like because they need big guys as well, like you know, in the men's division especially. Like he can do some cool shit.
Yeah, and you get to hear Wade Barrett go tsunami.
Yeah. Yeah. God damn it, Wade Barrett. But yes, we do get that. I don't know. I like I obviously it would have been like basically just like here's one of your boys, but he's not going to win the heavyweight championship, not yet. We know that. So in hindsight, I'm just like, Yeah, there was no need for it. Like, but it would have been nice for him and for the Australian fans, absolutely. But
I think that would have been every Australian on the card.
Yeah.
I think because we had Indy Hartwell, we had Rhea, we had Grayson Waller doing his. So I think it's only Bronson Reed is the only other Australian
that we can think of right now.
Yeah.
But so there was that, and so the men's chamber went pretty much how we expected.
Yeah,
and of course Logan Paul, being the shit biscuit he is, cost Randy Orton.
Yeah, he reaches into his tights again for the brass knuckles.
Why the refs don't fucking check this guy like they used?
Just stop feeling his crotch everything, sick.
No, listen, right? Going back in the day, the referee always used to see it. The referee would check if they were wearing wrist tape. They check the wrist tape. They check the boots. You know, like the referees would check and then they let the match begin. It was just one of those things, and I'm pretty sure it was basically like, okay, do you remember all the spots? Okay, good. Okay, and it goes to the other guy. Okay,
William Regal managed to get away with it.
Yeah, but William Regal's William Regal. He's not Logan Paul.
But yeah, so he pulls out the brass knuckles, and then the camera work that was done was really special good for that, because he starts chanting and like hyping himself up, and then almost does like his brother's sort of like Jake's sort of boxing like scream that he does with his tongue out, and he goes to he's about to turn around and either hit Drew or hit Randy. We don't know, because Randy just comes out absolutely nowhere with an RKO. The camera angle does it so well.
Yeah.
And just takes him out.
Nails him with an RKO.
Yeah. And then Randy looks like he's going to win. But you don't actually see Logan leave the chamber, so it's not like he left and came back in. I think Logan just gets up and just sparks Randy with the brass knuckles.
He was laying by the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was laying down by the door, getting the brass knuckles on him. And the punch looked good. It looked good.
Oh yeah,
the way they did it was so good. It was probably more of like a sort of forearm into the sort of like the chin neck. But the way he like threw the punch, it was very good. It was very good.
It again
to me.
And like we said earlier, it's annoying how good Logan Paul is, but it's also showing how much faith like someone that's so experienced like Randy Orton has in Logan Paul. Like, you can swing brass knuckles at me, because if that goes wrong, that's a broken jaw.
That's a broken jaw and a few missing teeth. Yeah.
So it's the faith he has in that sort of like a new person to do that. But
I mean, they must have worked on it together. They've been like, right, we have to get this good. And Randy, he's got the experience to be able to teach.
And speaking of Randy in this match, before we move on to the final one, do you think Randy was legit hurt? Because right at the start, he does his DDT, his patented DDT from the middle rope.
Yeah.
But he does it on the outside. And in years gone by, when that mat wouldn't be there, his reaction would have been justified if he chucked himself onto the metal grating. But he's chucking himself onto a pad, and then he's selling it like he's being absolutely just shanked. He's just
I think that's just Randy Orton understanding that everybody knows he's come back from a spine surgery, and I think he just uses that to just emphasize a bit like how like that's part of his character now. Like he will put himself through a lot of pain to win. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it just seemed weird that it was like, or if he was legit hurt, that the fact that was one of his first moves, and then he sold it for the rest of the thing, but he looked in absolute agony for like his first move that he did.
I don't think Randy's hurt. I think it's just something it's something that he knows works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think he does it on purpose.
Yeah, but then we had what we expected, like I said in the predictions video, which is not really a spoiler now because the event's passed, but we had all the SmackDown superstars eliminated, and the one Raw superstar stood tall in Drew McIntyre at the end of the Elimination Chamber to book his place. on the grandest stage of them all.
Yeah.
Which I think is good. We'll get to Drew because he does stuff on Monday Night Raw, which is just special. But
It's very good.
we then end with the hometown hero, well, the Australian hero, of Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax. And like we said last time, if I got excited for Nia Jax 2 years ago, you'd be just disowning me as a friend. But
there's something wrong with it.
But she is legit. She has been so good since she come back. Like, full credit to her.
Very good. Very, very good.
And that match, maybe it was just because it was two bigger people. Like, maybe she has a bit more freedom to be like a powerhouse with Rhea Ripley who can take it.
Oh, absolutely.
But it was it was so good, the fact that they were just they were hitting each other hard. The crowd were all invested for it. A lot of close falls for Nia being this dominant force.
Yeah,
like
really
Rhea did look in trouble a fair few times in that match.
Yeah, they did not job Nia Jax or Rhea Ripley out. They made both of them look incredibly strong. Like yeah, for real, it could go either way. Yeah. That it was a great match. It was really well put together as well. The thing I have to say, and I know it's been on Twitter a lot, is when Nia Jax has Rhea Ripley in that submission. It I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a scorpion tail submission where she's got one of her legs and she's like wrenched it right up and over, while she's like got her knee in like on her neck, and she's like, you know, pulling that leg. I know why a lot of people are looking at it for other reasons other than wrestling, but that was such a cool visual. I was like, oh, that must actually fucking hurt. Like, you know, you suspend your disbelief and you're like, wow, that looks like it fucking kills. You know, like, is she gonna attack? Yeah, but it was just like they made it look like even though this person's absolutely smashing the shit out of her, she's still got it, you know.
Yeah, and they ended with a nice shot of Rhea with her family on the side, just doing her mammy scream. It was a nice finish to the pay-per-view, or PLE as they're called now, and no, it gets us.
Just call it what you fucking want. I call it pay-per-views because it's pay-per-view. Because if I didn't pay for the network, I wouldn't be able to view it. So I'm paying per view.
It's true. But then that gets us firmly on the road to WrestleMania, which took us to Monday Night Raw. That was very, very special. I think it was, considering it was a Monday Night Raw after a pay-per-view, you're not going to have too many hard-hitting matches, but there was a lot set up in this sort of segment, because you had Becky Lynch obviously came out to confront Rhea Ripley, and she got absolutely flattened by Nia Jax. So it doesn't look like Nia Jax is. It doesn't look like Nia Jax is out of this story yet.
That's going to be something really exciting to see what happens over the next few weeks.
And you've still got Liv Morgan, who said that her revenge tour is still not over yet, so she's still trying to get into that match as well at some point. So you could even get a fatal four-way at Mania.
If the title changes hands at Mania, the only reason why it will is because Rhea doesn't get pinned or tapped.
Yeah. So you had that. You had Cody Rhodes versus Grayson Waller, like I said, and then at the end, Paul Heyman comes out to confront Cody Rhodes, and then Cody Rhodes just goes absolutely ham on security with some chairs, and Paul Heyman just looks terrified at the top of the ramp. As he looks on. So again, that just furthers that story towards Mania. And for me, the best heel who I want to talk about more than the other ones at the minute, the character of his life, is Drew McIntyre.
I knew you wanted to spend time talking about what he did.
Because you have his stuff on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it. You have his stuff on that where he's like, Logan Paul was saying, "You need to thank me. I got you to Mania," and it's a video which I sent you the link, and I was like, this is what I expected them to do with Logan Paul, because it brings his YouTube side into WWE and crosses the lines for his video editing. So he's just doing like almost like a TikTok where he's saying to Drew that he won, and then Drew just replies with, "I see your brother got the brain cells, which isn't very high." That was just Drew's response, just shutting him down completely. But then you get to, he's also done like obviously the photo of him sat at the grave with CM Punk's Wrestlemania and stuff like that, which is now on a t-shirt as well. You can get Drew's t-shirt with that on. And then you get to Monday Night Raw, and Drew just cuts one of the best promos of the year so far. I think this year has had so many good promos already, and we're only in, well, we're about to start March. So 2 months in, and you've had 3 like contenders for promo of the year already.
Yeah,
because you've got you had Drew basically stand in the ring and dedicate his match at Mania to Punk. he's like, I'm going to do it for you. And he goes, I know you're straight edge and you don't drink, so on the ride home I drank double for the both of us. It's just so good. And then he sits down in the Punk pipe bomb position in the middle of the ring, cross-legged. But it's like it's just little things that Drew does at the minute where he just turns to the cameraman before he carries on his promo and goes, "Don't you look up my kilt, you pervert."
Yeah,
just carries on.
I caught him say that, and I was like, oh, that's a bit of an attitude era there. Yeah, calling someone a pervert. I mean, it's not the worst he could have said, but
no, but it's just so good from Drew at the minute. I think he's on the roll of his life, and I do think this might be a bit of a spoiler for the Mania predictions, which will come later in the month on the YouTube side. But I do think that we probably will get Drew beating Seth, I think, and he'll probably keep the belt until CM Punk returns.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I think so, because when CM Punk comes, because the thing is, don't forget, Seth he's got issues with Punk too. So I think you're onto something. It sounds good. I think you are onto something, because it would make sense after all of this shit that Drew McIntyre has put out for CM Punk to return from injury, but he wants to main event Mania, so
it could be a year-long build, because we don't know how long Punk's out for, because it's
a torn tricep. He'll be out till maybe August. I don't know. I don't know. This is me trying to guess how his body responds to surgery.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just assume a torn tricep with rehabbing and everything. He can be back on screen. He could be back on screen by August, but maybe not too much.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
But then you could even get Punk at Mania anyway, because he could be champion by then. So he could go into Mania as champion. It doesn't mean that just because he wants his Mania match, it doesn't mean that he has to go in at whatever level.
He could come back at the Rumble for all we know.
Yeah. Yeah, he could either come back at the Rumble, win it, and then main event Mania, which is what he wants, or he comes back earlier, like you say, beats Drew earlier, and then goes on to main event Mania because the Royal Rumble winner picks Punk.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Could have that.
Yeah. So we've covered the Elimination Chamber. We're on to Raw. So we've had Drew's little thing. So what the matches that took place? Was there anything else that stood out?
So there was the other promo again. Another great promo was the Judgment Day confronted Imperium, and Damian Priest said, "We're coming for your IC title at Mania," because they want to hold all the belts, which suggests that either it sort of gave a hint, because Damian said it, that Damian was going to cash in on Gunter, because even Gunter said, "If you're going to cash that in and let me know, then just do it." And he said, "We'll make it official, cash in, we'll have a match at Mania," sort of thing. And then Dom took the mic, and if Dom or JD are the one that goes against Gunter, there's no chance. And if they do win, then after Gunter's build, he does not deserve to drop that strap to JD or Dom Mysterio. So the only one I could see do it is Damian Priest. It does sort of get them out of the corner that they're in, but at the same time, they had the Money in the Bank last year go on the US title. To now do it for the IC title, it sort of makes the prestige of the Money in the Bank drop a bit if it's just going to be used on mid-card belts.
Yeah, it does. And we've had so much teasing in the past with Priest looking like he was going to threaten to cash in on Seth. And that kind of all just fell away.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I genuinely don't know how they're going to go with that. But that was another good promo. And the match of the night for me was again Imperium, because it was just before they had a street fight with New Day.
Fucking hell, man.
And
some of the shit that they did.
That looked brutal, and it started off with like New Day coming out with hockey shirts and just taking chair shots to Imperium straight away, and the match just started as a brawl outside.
Yeah.
And they went through tables, there was chair shots, kendo sticks, there was everything, and the hits looked, well, legit. It was a proper street fight as it should be. And I think it did what AEW still don't quite do properly. And that's not a dig at AEW. I do like AEW, and we will briefly mention AEW after Raw, but you've got it didn't need like everyone to be busted open bleeding.
No,
the match still flowed well, and it still looked like deadly, and it didn't need the.
Man. It looked like it hurt. Whichever way
it didn't need the blood. Yeah,
no, it didn't need blood. No, but fuck me, some of those fucking kendo, the kendo stick shots. I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, that's getting a bit much now. It's getting too much.
But Ludwig Kaiser got the pin in the end, so Imperium is still going forward.
Yeah. This is why. Now we've got to this point. Now this is why I think we may end up with a multi-man tag match for the titles at Mania, because if Imperium are strong going in, you've got New Catch Republic probably back in the picture. Not New Day, I don't think so, but then you've got AOP and Judgment Day. That'd be a pretty solid, absolute destruction derby of a TLC match.
This is why last week I brought it up, and I know our views differ on this, but this is why I think we need to split them titles up to have two separate ones again. Because you've got New Day, Judgment Day, DIY, the Creed Brothers, New Catch Republic, Imperium. There's loads more teams in there that could all fight for these belts, that you could have multi-man matches over and over, but you'd still only got one set of belts to go for at the minute. You got what are they called? Two boys from Newcastle, Kit and Prince.
Oh,
pretty deadly.
Yeah, pretty deadly.
Yeah, they're in there as well. So you've got so many different tag teams that could come up, which is why I think that you can get away with splitting them belts up again now. Because as you said last time, Triple H loves his tag teams, whereas Vince didn't. So now he's given the tag teams a chance to grow.
I think it's more that he likes stables. He likes groups. Because if you look, there's in NXT there was so many stables, so many groups, because it then lends to being able to you could so Imperium is 3 people, right? So you got Gunther, then you got Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. So any of those 3 could be involved in anything, and you'd still have it classed as Imperium. Same with the Judgment Day. Same with Bobby Lashley's stable. I think it's the Hurt Business, but I don't think it is.
Yeah, you got the Final Testament, AOP, Karrion Kross.
Yeah, that's a big group, because you got Scarlett and Paul Ellering as well.
Yeah. Eventually, if he ever comes back, you'll have Big E joining the New Day again.
New Day, yeah.
So you do have the stables there.
Yeah, you do. Now I think that is a Triple H thing. That he loves a stable, because look at DX.
DX Evolution. He's always had them.
He's all, yeah. And as the corporation, the McMahon
Yeah.
Helmsley regime, as it was
Yeah,
called.
and even the corporation after that with like corporate Kane
The
and
authority.
yeah, the authority
Yeah.
with Stephanie and all that.
He
And
understands why stables are good, because you can have one person represent that stable, and it's good because it gives the breakout star, it gives them a chance to be turned on, like Evolution turned on Randy Orton.
yeah,
You know,
and he's
then
got
NXT's
damage
turn.
control in the female side,
Yep.
which is now split
Yep.
up in the exact same.
He's building it. He's building it.
Yeah.
So, building it.
But that was Raw. I think it was a good Raw. I think they'll only get better now. The Rock returns on Friday, so next week we'll have a lot to talk about with The Rock.
Oh yes.
Rock's tour. We'll hopefully get some more storyline towards that. Speaking of The Rock and the Bloodline, which is moving on away from Raw now, we've got Tama Tonga has agreed to WWE. He has signed.
Has he? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So
good.
That's another member to the Bloodline potentially.
Potentially.
He could come in. But then NXT, we'll briefly touch on that because it also crosses over onto AEW. We had cryptic messages that kept popping up on screen for the last few weeks about like
mystery man.
The truth shall bring you to your knees. The truth will do this and all that. And we found out who it was on Wednesday. And after 5 years away, it is a returning Sean Spears.
Not
that came back. No, that's the thing. He's kept his AEW name. There was the people knew who it was because as the lights went out, there were a faint chance of 10 in the NXT crowd.
Yeah.
But Ty Dillinger or Sean Spears return and
he'll come
took a
back
chair shot to Rich Holland.
Yeah, he'll come back.
But this is what NXT have done, and WWE in a whole have done brilliantly since Vince has gone. And it was the fact that when CM Punk returned, no one knew about it, or very few people knew about it.
Yeah.
When Sean Spears returned on Wednesday night, no one in NXT knew who was returning.
No.
They hid Sean Spears backstage. Even Rich Holland, who was taking the bump, didn't know who was going to be giving him the bump.
He was just told you're going to get clashed with a chair. Protect yourself.
All of the they rehearsed it, but all of the rehearsals that they did, Shawn Michaels stepped in.
Oh,
so Shawn Michaels was stepping in for Sean Spears. So he was doing the hit on the Rich Holland to make him know what was coming and what was happening. But he didn't know who was doing it. So the fact that they've managed to keep it that much of a secret, where even the person that was taking the bump didn't know who was coming back, is just special now. That's
special, yeah. That's very special. I'm so excited.
I do like the fact, because like I say, I do watch AEW, and I do think AEW have got great superstars in there. And I do like the fact that they can keep their name.
Pause, sorry. Keep going.
Yeah. They can keep their name and keep their gimmick. And that means that you've got Sean Spears, who kept the chair gimmick, so he's now using the chair. He's the chairman because he took that shot at Cody Rhodes when he first joined AEW. I'm thinking, like, there's other people, like, if you bring Malachi back to WWE, you can keep the House of Black going. You could keep, maybe not the House of Black, maybe AEW own that, but if he owns his own name of Malachi Black, you can always keep that. I know Aleister Black did work in WWE, but that's that one. I can't see John Moxley return. I think if Daniel Bryan comes back, he changes back to Daniel Bryan. I think there's some which are just kept in that sort of vein. But for me, when you bring back Sean Spears and just keep him as the chairman, then it's a good thing that he can just keep his gimmick from the AEW, keep everything about him the same, keep his name, because people then, it also sort of maybe brings over AEW fans for a change. It slowly fixes that divide if these are two separate brands and you can only like one, which seems to be the case on social media. You can't like both. Like if I go on Twitter tomorrow and put out a statement about AEW, there'll be WWE fans just coming in like, yeah, it's like just enjoy the wrestling. It doesn't matter who you wrestle for. And if he's got a gimmick that works and is over, and he had fans in AEW, brings them fans with him to WWE. I think that's probably what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because his Sean Spears gimmick is far better than the Ty Dillinger 10.
Yeah, I have to admit, I liked that it was a thing that the crowd could really be involved in. But again, this was back when like Vince was still main roster. Like, and he was in charge. It just didn't, to me, it just didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get it.
So before we end up, we'll speak of two more things. One, since we were on the subject of AEW, we have Sting's last ever match on Saturday. The Icon is retiring, and we had him descend from the ceiling on AEW Just Gone on Dynamite.
Brilliant.
The Young Bucks basically go to the ring. They've got bats in hand because the Young Bucks, who are now the EVPs, and they're still rocking these. So you don't watch AEW that much or at all, I don't think.
I don't. I'm aware of who you're talking about. I know who they are. I'm just not. So it's too much for me to follow.
When the Young Bucks returned, they basically attacked Tony Schiavone, and then some of the Darby Allin and Sting came out to make the save because they're the faces, and the Young Bucks were wearing these like bright white suits. But as it's AEW, people got busted open, and that means there was just blood all over these white suits. Lovely. And instead of washing them and doing anything with them, they've just kept the blood stains on them. Oh. So now they come out to the ring wearing these blood-stained white suits, and it has such a nice visual effect that it's like these guys are just arseholes. So they came out to the ring on Wednesday, and they've got their baseball bats in hand, and there's a bunch of like fans that have got Darby Allin face masks on or Sting face masks on in the front row, and they walk up to them and start like mouthing off to them, being like typical heels, and they knock a mask off this fan's face, and then they go along the line, and as they're about, they knock I don't know if they knock two off or they knock one off, but they knock one off anyway. Then they go to this next one and go to knock it off, and the mask just comes off, and it's Darby Allin behind it, and he just leaps the barricade and starts swinging for both of them. And because it's 2-on-1, Darby Allin gets taken out, and the Young Bucks, then all of a sudden Sting's music hits, and the Young Bucks just sort of go, right, we're not waiting around, let's go meet him. So they go up to the entrance ramp, and they have their bats in hand waiting for Sting to come through the curtain. And instead you just get this visual of the camera panning back, and Sting just comes down on the cable from the ceiling and just descends to behind them with the baseball bat in hand, and just goes to town on both of them. Nice. It's a really nice visual. The only thing that was bad about the segment was the fact that Ric Flair tried to get involved, and he just cannot fight. No. he cannot.
He's proper fucked, isn't he?
Yeah. I genuinely think that my auntie could probably throw a better punch than Ric Flair at this point, and she's 98 and she's been dead a year. So that's how limp his punches were.
Oh my god. Okay.
They were not special. But that was the AEW, and I do think that his retirement matches, he probably takes the loss at the weekend against the Young Bucks. But I think it'll be Darby Allin probably taking the pin. Maybe Sting takes the pin till we like pass the torch on to the Young Bucks or something like that. But it's going to be sad to see him go, because he has. But at the same time, it's not, because he's admitted that his body can't do it anymore, and it's just one of them where you want him to go while he's still had this amazing career. You don't want to be like a Ric Flair who just won't give up. He seems to think that he can still go on forever. Yeah. So I think that it'll be sad, but also be good to see Sting bow out. And it'll be good to see his last match. And it'll be interesting to see who turns up on Saturday to this. Because it's going to be one of them where you hope other promotions that are sort of like not partnered with AEW can get behind it, just because it is Sting, and let some of the people go that he's worked with to be there for him.
I think they will. We'll see.
And then we'll end on some more sad news. Well, it is sad. Not and it's fans. It's the fans that are at the minute currently booing Maxine Dupree.
Oh,
and just don't be dicks. There was a house show where Maxine Dupree basically got booed out of the building, and as people rightly said, fans pay money to voice their opinion, and Cena got booed, Roman Reigns as a face got booed. Booing is fine. Booing, I have no problem with you paying money and booing a superstar that you don't like. That's fine. But the fact that when she's walking up the ramp, you hear people in the crowd go, "You suck. You should quit. You should do this. You should do." It was just like hurtful comments that go to it. By all means, boo and cheer, but you don't then suddenly tell people that they should quit doing what they do. Because like you've got to think Maxine Dupree's not even been in WWE for a year,
Yeah,
so it's like
she's still learning.
It's like you've, well, it's not. I don't know if it's public knowledge. It is now because it's on a podcast. But you've got a new job coming up. Maybe potentially. It's
maybe
like
potentially.
Maybe, yeah. But it's like someone turning up to your job like a week in, going, "You suck. You should quit." It's like, how would you like it if it was in any other form of work? She is doing her job at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just if you go into a house show or a WWE show, don't be a dick.
Yeah, we had. I'll tell you a quick story then, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Because I went to the when they had the inaugural WWF NXT, not WWF, sorry, WWE NXT UK United Kingdom tournament champion thing, and a chap called Zach Gibson won it, one of the grizzled young veterans. Yeah. And he won the tournament. And during that show, we had lots of different matches. And we had a fatal 4-way women's match. But these were all homegrown talent. So if you went to like Progress Wrestling or any of the English promotions, you probably know who they are.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but I was like, cool, it's wrestling, it's fine, I'm here for the event, it's fine. We were sat not very far away, me and my mate, who is normally he's quite vocal about things. I think I sent you the what he said when we went to Money in the Bank about the dude with the Charlotte.
Oh yeah.
So that's normally his style, right? But he keeps it like friendly and fun, right? Banter. One of the girls in the match took a dive from the ring post to the outside, and she hurt herself. And the match stopped. The referees threw up the X, and you could audibly hear that everyone was kind of like, "Oh, okay." Some things. We could, from where we were, it was the opposite side of the ring, so we couldn't see what happened. Some fucking dickhead about 2 rows down shouts, "Is she dead?" And he was sat there with his girlfriend or whoever, and he just got the whole arena descend on him, like booing him, pointing at him, saying like, "You fucking cunt," like and we're sat behind him, like just. I was like, "What the fuck's your problem?" And he looked like he was sat in his chair, right? And I know if you're watching, you'll see the visual. But if you're not watching, he kind of just sinks down in his chair, like he's trying to fucking hide from an arena full of wrestling fans who are going to kick the living shit out of him if he carries on. The girlfriend, she just turned away from him, like she didn't want to be seen with him, and he looked like he wanted the fucking world to swallow him up. I don't know if anyone heard that backstage. I don't know, because it was interesting, because not long, it might have been just coincidence, and it probably was just a coincidence, but Triple H came out when the girls got taken to the back. All of the whole match just stopped. There was no winner, there was nothing. The match just stopped and they all went to the back. Triple H came out and he basically said, "This is what wrestling is." He said, "Sometimes things go wrong and people get hurt." He said, and it was the way he was saying it was like, we appreciate those of you who, will support the superstars regardless of anything. He says, but let's remember that they're putting their health, their lives, when they do these things, things can go wrong, right? He said, let's just remember that. And I remember just staring fucking like laser beams through the back of this fucking dude's head. And he, for the rest of the night, he didn't cheer, he didn't boo, he didn't do anything. He just sat there and he didn't fucking move. He didn't even go to the toilet. He didn't go get a drink. He just stayed fucking put. Because I think he knew if he walked go to the toilet, or something, he'd get someone to have a go at him.
Yeah.
Because what a fucking dick. And when I saw that on Twitter this morning as well about Maxine Dupree, I was thinking, what the fuck is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Honestly, like she's been in the company less than a year. Like, give her a fucking chance. You go do that then. All right. You think she's rubbish? Go on then. Go and put on a fucking 5-star match, you silly dick.
Yeah.
I hate shit like that.
Let's see.
It just winds me up. It just really winds me up.
Let me have a quick look just so we can get the exact thing. Let's try and find this. She was born on the 19th of May 1997, so she is 26 years old, and that's what people are doing to her. So she's just a baby in terms of professional wrestling.
She's 26. She's been in the company for like less than a year. She's probably
pushed straight to the main roster from NXT.
Yeah, straight to the main roster with no, like, and people are saying that she needs to. These people should be the people that should be banned from ever attending anything to do with wrestling again, because they're not wrestling fans. They're just fucking dicks. And this is I'm gonna. This is a hot take. This is a hot take, and it's probably going to be very, very unpopular. But I think the Americans are spoiled. I think they're so fucking spoiled when it comes to wrestling, because they get it week after week after week after week. They can go to any Raw, any SmackDown, any pay-per-view really, and house shows, the lot, yeah, WWE Live, like they can go to all of these things, and because it's like maybe $30 a ticket or something, and it's just a house show, and they oh well, you know, why don't we just go as a night out? And then they have a few drinks beforehand, they get a bit leery, and then they get there and they're just like, yeah, let's shit on these fucking people because my life sucks because we have to pay for our healthcare and shit, right? And then because I'm gonna be completely honest, when I went to that WWE UK tournament thing, we cheered anyone that came through that curtain. Anyone that came through, they got a cheer. And genuine, unless, like, you know, unless they were like an absolute heel, then you can't. Then you booed them as part of the act, right?
Yeah.
And Money in the Bank, the supposed heels in the Money in the Bank match got cheered because we just were so happy that that we actually got a chance. So. Yeah, so that's my hot take. I think the Americans are incredibly spoiled, and they just that's probably where that's come from in my opinion.
Even the house show we went to, I don't think anyone got booed really. I think the only person that got booed was Dom, and that's because it's Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, but it was part of.
I think there was even cheers for Austin Theory when he was the US champion, and that was when he was prime dick mode, and we still cheered him as he came out.
Yeah,
There was
we cheered fucking the Maximum Male Models.
Yeah, and they were insulted us the entire time, and yet they still got laughs. They got cheered as they came through.
Yeah, because we don't get it often. We don't.
No.
You look at all the You look at when WWE does a tour of the UK. We get about 7 shows.
Yeah.
Dotted around the country. Because Ireland get a couple of shows as well. Scotland gets a couple. Wales gets 1 or 2, and we get like maybe 4 around England. And that's it. And then they don't come back for like for like 6 months. They're gone.
Yeah. And you've got to remember as well that when they come to the UK, it's not like they're doing shows in the UK at that time. So like the show that we seen, WWE Raw and SmackDown was still in America.
Yeah, it was just a live show.
So you never get all of the talent coming over to these house shows that we get.
Although we did get Cody Rhodes and Seth.
Cody was on his world tour at the time, and Seth obviously came over. But like the big names at the time, because it was when Sammy just turned on the Judgment Day. There was no Sammy. There was no Usos, which I know you were looking forward to hopefully seeing there.
Maybe,
There was like the poster that we were originally given had Kevin Owens on it, and he didn't turn up because he was in that feud.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of people that just we don't get to see, and then like you say, these get to see everyone.
Yeah.
Because it's just so easy for them to get on the way.
They do.
They should be just. And it's not everyone. We're not saying every fan's the same. It's the few individuals that ruin it for the majority.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I don't mean every American, obviously, but I just mean that it just feels like the few will spoil it for the rest.
Yeah,
and it does feel like if you didn't have it all the time, you would treat it differently. Is what I'm saying. But also, more sad news. Virgil passed away.
Yeah, he did. 61 years old.
Yeah.
Which is no age at all in this day and age.
No, not really. No, but I mean, again, we don't. It's a bit like Kevin Nash talks about it a lot. My uncle Kev, he talks about it a lot. He says that life is so different. It was so different back then on the road. Wrestling was just a completely different thing. And even Taker has alluded to it as well. You know, that a lot of the talent now would rather sit around and play video games than play cards and drink. But
yeah,
that's because people are more like, lifestyle has changed. Like they want to do the wrestling, but they also want to live as long as they can. So they're not gonna be poisoning themselves all the time with like pills or other things. So
it's not even just the pills. Like you see it in football, or if you're watching America soccer, and well, I suppose in football, American football as well. These athletes do it. Just because you see them once a week, they're still training every day.
Oh yeah,
which means
they're every day.
They're at full pelt doing stuff. So a lot of these athletes, you find when they do like autopsies and stuff on sadly the ones that do pass away young, is the fact that their hearts are bigger than what a normal heart should be, because there's that much muscle that it's trying to pump blood to, that the hearts just grow, and then it causes problems. We don't know what the cause of death was yet, or at least I don't. I haven't seen what the cause of death was for Virgil.
No.
But you often find with like, but it's 61. I don't know. It can't. It can be still classed as natural causes, but I don't think it'll be just old age at 61.
Well, we don't know how much abuse his body went through. Like we don't, you know, we don't know if he was a drug user or alcohol abuser. We don't know.
Yeah, but it'll be sad. Hopefully he gets a tribute paid to him on.
He should,
Monday or Friday. Sorry, it'll be Friday now for SmackDown.
Yeah, he should, because his run as Ted DiBiase's like assistant. I don't know. You know, Ted DiBiase, and then he broke away from the $1 Million Man for a while, and nothing came of it really. After that, because that's the thing I do remember was watching Wrestlemania, watching the 1992 Rumble, and Virgil came out and he got a good reaction, and I was like, oh, okay, so he's meant to be this fairly big deal. Nothing happened.
Yeah,
and then he ended up in WCW as Vincent, as a member of the NWO. And basically just took the fall. He took the pin most of the time. So whenever they needed someone to do the job, it was him.
Yeah.
But I suppose in his mind, at least he was getting paid.
Yeah. But it's still sad. 61 is, like you say, no age still for someone in this day and age. We don't know what they went through, like you say, but even so, 61, you expect someone to go for another 20 years at least.
Yeah, I mean, you hear all the stories. Like he would go to like conventions and stuff, and he'd set up his own table with his own signs, with his own thing, trying to make some money, you know. And people would be like, oh, hey, can I get a photo? Like if he was just walking around and he's like, yeah, it's $10, and people were like, oh no, it's fine. Like just that kind of, it's kind of sad, you know, that's that was, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So rip Virgil.
Yeah.
I think that's us done for this week. We've done we've done pretty good. Please check out our Elimination Chamber predictions to see who came out on top. It was a draw, really, time limit draw. One of the worst finishes in that we've had so far. But it was just so easy. There was no way for us to. If we picked different, it would have been just so that I could have. So it would change hands.
I did hear on the grapevine that you thought Indy Hartwell was going to win the tag champ, so I should be champion now. But that's not here or not.
You fucking liar! Chatting shit, my friend. Chatting shit. No, that's fine. We're gonna be back next week, same time. It'll be released on a Thursday evening. Yeah, so stay tuned. What have we got? What have we got next? We've got SmackDown, and then there's
SmackDown on Friday, there's Raw on Monday, and then next Wednesday, WWE 2K24 drops.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Or actually, Tuesday the 5th, it comes out. You get 3 days early access if you bought the deluxe edition like I did, so it'll be the 5th. So, day after Monday Night Raw. Which means you can also look forward to some Universe mode on the Cheap Seats YouTube.
Yes. We're doing Universe mode where we are allowed to be free of the restrictions of GM mode and just book the best possible Mania to Mania card ever.
We will we will watch all the matches. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long. We'll do about 3 or 4 matches a card, so there'll be 2 videos a week going up, one of Raw, one of SmackDown. Whether we do Monday and Friday, I don't know. That's yet to be decided what days we actually put them out on. You'll see all the pay-per-views as well.
Yep.
And we'll do a draft. There'll be an episode 0 for draft.
Yep.
First, where Rhea will take charge of Raw, I'll take charge of SmackDown. However, when it comes to actually booking the shows, we can both be general managers for Raw and SmackDown, so we can both decide. Yeah. But the initial split is so we don't go into the draft with matches already in our head, because things can change.
Yeah. I think that seems fair. So there is more to come. There is more content on the way. So stay tuned. Drop a like, follow, subscribe, all that good shit. If you're on Spotify, follow us for the latest episodes. And let us know if there's anything that you think we could do better, or things that you say, any suggestions for stuff that we could do as well. And that's it from us. So thank you very much for joining. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Say goodbye.
Bye.
See you guys.